Hello, good evening. I am Favor Chike Williams, and it's good to be back here again. Good evening. I want to thank you for always making it a date, to be part of what we do every fortnight of this self and human performance skill development forum and sessions that we have every fortnight. I am so excited to, have you here, today. And I want you, please, as you join, I want you to make a comment. I want to know your name. I want to know where you're watching from. If today is your first time also, you can do well to wave at me. Let me know that I have a first timer who is part of today's session. Once again, my name is Favor Chike Williams, and I am your host at Pause and Ponder with Favy, where we grow ourselves and develop our human performance skill. So I am your coach, and I'm happy to be back on your screen today. I know you had a beautiful day, so please do well to invite your friends. You can create a watch party. You can also like, comment, make reactions, be engaging. Even as we also go through the session, if there is any part of the session that is making most meaning to you, that you're gleaning points from, please do well to comment. I want to see that you are learning from what we are doing. Okay, so let's do this today at Pause and Ponder with Favor Life Moments. We are going to be having a very important discussion. I'm going to be taking you through something that is very important, and it is dealing or handling decision making process. Decision is something that every one of us will have to make at every point of our life. You have to make a decision at one point or the other in your life. You have to come to a point where you have to choose. Okay, so you must definitely come to that point. Either you're trying to choose a spouse, you're trying to choose a course of study, you're trying to choose where to live, a location, you're trying to choose where to make your business base, or trying to, there must be definitely, even when you go to the market to get something, there must be something, and there must be a process of you deciding. Life has presented us with options. It is left to us to choose from them. Even the Bible said that God presented life and death. I say, if you ask me, I'll tell you to choose life, but it is also left for you to choose whichever one that you would want to choose. So today, I want you to just take through. Don't forget that as you join in, please just, you can give a wave. You can also say where you're joining in from. Invite your friends, create a watch party, spread it as far as you can, so that other people will be able to enjoy and be part of this impactful session. So I'll go straight into the tips that would help you handle your decision making process. Number one, you must have a grip of your schedule. You must have a firm grip of your schedule. This has to do with when you're making decision of maybe where you want to go to. Okay, most of the times when you wake up in the morning, for some people, most times they don't have their day planned out, and anything just fills in the spaces. At the end of the day, you realize that you've achieved little or nothing out of your day. But if you have a very firm grip of your schedule, you can say, okay, no, this does not come in, this comes in, this goes tomorrow, this comes today. So this is how to plan yourself. You must have a very firm grip of your schedule. There are things that you do not allow steal your time. Most of the times when I see people spend hours in front of the television, it shows me that there is nothing they are doing with their time. There is nothing, they don't have their life planned out. Now, am I saying it is wrong to watch televisions? No. But what I'm saying is that you must plan yourself so much so that you do not allow frivolities fill in your time. So when somebody comes to you and say, okay, I want us to go to so place, you should already have a way you planned yourself. If that person can fill into the time space or time window that you have, then you can go for the other assignment. But there must be something that you are doing that fills in your time. You must have a very firm grip of your schedule. Know what you want to do and what you do not want to do. Okay, then the next thing you must do, that you must set decision making deadlines. I'll explain. So most of the times when you have a choice to make, If you just leave it open-ended, like, okay, I can decide on what to do at any time, I can say when I want to do this and when I don't want to do it, at the end of the day, you might end up delaying that decision-making process. For instance, somebody comes to marry a lady, and the person is saying, I want to get married to you, and say, okay, fine, let's get married, or let me think about it. So most of the times a man goes to a woman and asks her, I want to marry you, and she says, let me think about it, and you allow her to just go. Brother, you're going to stay there for the next 2 years of your life, because it might take her 2 years to decide. Okay, but how do you know someone that is going to come up fast with a decision when the person says, okay, give me between now and 2 weeks to think about this, give me between now and the next 1 month to think about it. I've also seen men that when they ask a woman, if they make a proposal to a woman, they tell her, okay, please think about it, take your time, maybe get back to me between now and the next 2 months. That's fair enough. Okay, but there must be, your decision making process must be time bound, and when you are also setting that time, make sure that the time frame you are giving is very realistic. Okay, don't tell somebody, hold on, let me think, by next year I'll get back to you. That's very unrealistic. So make sure that the time frame that you're setting is very realistic. So that takes me to the third point of your decision making process. Number three is that you have to narrow your options. You have to narrow your options. Most of the times, when we have so many options, when we have so many options to pick from, it is difficult to make a decision. Okay, for instance, you want to start a business, you want to start a food business, you want to start a clothes business, you want to run a clothes line, you want to go into teaching. There's just so many things. That's most times the challenge with gifted people. They don't end up deciding on precisely what they want to do, that at the end of the day they don't end up doing anything, and they are less productive. So you must learn to narrow your options. Okay, so what are my strengths? Let's say I love cooking, I want to go into food business. I also love fashion, I want to run a cloth line. These are the two major things. Or maybe let's say I also draw and paint and all that. So these are three options. If I want to make the most out of this process and come up with a tangible decision as fast as possible, I will have to streamline my options to my scale of preference. Okay, so on all these things that I can do, what are the two most important? Okay, so between food business and running a cloth line, I start looking at these two directions. By the time I do several other analysis, that follows, I can now come up with a tangible decision and say, okay, fine, this is what I have chosen to do. But if your options are scattered, you're going to end up being confused, because most of the times also when you go to people and you tell them, okay, this is what I'm thinking, what they'll ask you is, what do you want? Okay, sometimes they'll ask you, okay, choose between two things, two most important things on your mind. So streamline your options. It will help you do your decision making as fast as possible. Number four thing that you must do, don't forget, the first one is get a firm grip of your schedule. The second one is that you must set decision making deadlines. Number three is that you must narrow your options. Now number four is that you must stop worrying about others. Stop worrying about others. Most of the times I see people, they want to make a decision, they want to do something, and what they are bothered is, oh, people say, what would they think, how would they see me? Listen, you are the most important person here. When somebody comes to you with a proposal, when somebody asks you to do something, a business proposal, a marriage proposal, whatsoever it is, even a friend is trying to ask you for money and you want to decide if you're going to give that money or not, you must first of all think about yourself. Now, that might sound selfish, but listen, no matter how much or what you do, you cannot please everybody. Okay, so what you must do is to stop first of all worrying about others, and what that will make you do is that you would develop yourself to learn to say no without feeling bad. Learn to say no without feeling bad. If it's not working, let people know that, sorry, this is not going to work. If it's also going to work, let them know, okay, fine, I'll think about it and this can work out. Okay, so learn to say no without feeling bad. If you want to please everybody, you will never make a decision, because you'll be considering A and B. At the end of the day, you are on the fence and nothing has ended up happening favorably. Another thing you must do, and this is one thing that we always talk about at Pause and Ponder with Favor is that you must seek counsel. You must seek counsel. If you are a consistent follower of Pause and Ponder with Favor, you would realize that at every session there is one particular point that keeps replicating itself, is that you must seek counsel. You must get a mentor. Let there be someone that you can seek counsel for. Get someone, and a mentor is not somebody that is far away. Okay, I'm not talking about location. Thank God for technology, and you can access people regardless of their location. But your mentor must be somebody you can access, first of all, and somebody you can trust their judgment. If you have a mentor or somebody you claim is mentoring you and you can't access that person, sorry, you don't have a mentor. If you have somebody you claim is your mentor and you can't trust that person's judgment, sorry dear, tell the person it's not going to work out again, and look for someone that you can trust their judgment, because it is easier to see from outside the box. You that is in the situation might not be able to see all the pros and cons that surrounds that situation, but somebody that is not in the dilemma with you can look at it and say, okay, no, this is not going to work out, this will work out. Most of the times also, when you're about to make a marital decision, if you are beclouded by emotions, there are things you cannot be able to spot. But if you have someone who you can trust the person's judgment, look at that person and say, no, there's something I'm observing. This person has a challenge with this and that. If you can trust the person's judgment and perspective, then you should be able to listen to such counsel. So get a mentor, get someone that can talk to you, someone that you can listen to their counsel, someone that you can, listen to and access, someone that would come with a different perspective from you to give you a very balanced and sound judgment. Another thing that you must do is that you must avoid overthinking the outcome. The truth is that no matter what choice you make in life, there will definitely be an outcome. Whether you choose the right thing, there will be an outcome, there will be a resultant effect. If you also choose the wrong thing, there will definitely be a resultant effect. So when you are, making a decision, or you're about making a decision, don't bother so much about what it will turn out, because there's something called paralysis of analysis. Okay, if you keep looking at a thing, you will magnify the faults in that thing. You will start seeing so many loopholes that can make you not to also do it at the end of the day. But if you don't overthink it, okay, now be thorough. Don't get me wrong, be thorough, but don't start looking for puncturing the positive sides of what you want to do, that at the end of the day you don't end up doing anything about it. So stop overthinking the possible outcomes, stop overthinking what might go wrong. Another thing that you must do is that you must make research. Okay, so I want to make a decision, I want to do something. I must ask myself, what does it take to do this? Who is doing this? How do they do it? What procedure do I need to do this? If I'm going to be making a business, venture, I want to decide on a particular business, I need to make research. What are the advantages or disadvantages of doing this business in my location? How do I go about it? What resources do I have at my disposal to see that I carry out this business the way it is supposed to be at this point of time? So you don't just venture into it and you're in the middle of nowhere. No, if you want to make a sound decision, make research, read. We are in a technology age, and every information you need is at your beck and call. Whatsoever you need right now, you can get it. Just ask Google. If you don't know who to ask, if you can't access those people, ask Google. Do extensive research. Don't just research on the surface and say, okay, I've done it. No, make extensive research. Ask Google. You can also go on YouTube, download videos, watch videos, burn your data sometime to be able to access information. Another thing that you must do is to protect your mind against self-doubt. There are things that definitely will crop up that will make you doubt yourself and your abilities, but you must definitely work on your mind not to doubt yourself. There are things that will make you feel, can I do this? Can't I do it? Don't worry. Just find a way to protect your heart, guard your heart against things that would make you doubt yourself. Please, for the sake of those that are just joining in, please, you can just leave a comment. Okay, I want to know the comments that you have gleaned, the things that have been beneficial to you in the course of this session. If you're also joining for the first time, just please give me a wave. I want to know that you're joining for the first time, and I will also celebrate and be happy that you're joining us today to be part of this Pause and Ponder with Baby family. So please protect your heart against self-doubt. Now, number 9, there are self-assessment questions that you should ask yourself before you make a decision. There are self-assessment questions you should ask yourself before you make a decision. So the 4-way assessment you must take is: 1, what are the potential consequences for this thing that I want to do? The potential consequences that you are most afraid of. When you are thinking of something, while you're brooding on something, those outcomes you're thinking about, what are those potential outcomes, consequences, those negativities you see? Okay, it can also be positive, but you can also look at the negativities and demystify them. What are the possible outcome and consequences of this thing I'm about to do? Then you ask yourself another question: what is the worst that could happen? This is one thing that has helped me whenever I want to make a decision. I have learned to prepare for the worst. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? Will this kill anybody? I say no. Will this affect anybody? No. Okay, so there are two things that are involved. It's either I swim through or I sink. And obviously, I'm making a decision not to sink, and I'm willing to give in all it takes. So think of the possible, of the worst thing that could happen when you make that decision. Then also on the flip side, think on the best possible outcome. Okay, now this is to compare with the first point. Think on the best possible outcome. What is the positive thing that can happen? And if you weigh with the positive against the negative and see that the positive is greater, then you should make that your decision. But when you weigh it and the negative outcomes outweigh the positive outcome, then you possibly should not go in that direction. Then another thing you ask yourself on the 4-way self-assessment is: how would my life change after this decision? There are times, I knew a lady when we were in second year, and she wanted to get married. She was quite beautiful and very resourceful too at the same time, and she had people coming around her to get married to her while we were still in second year in the university. And one of the things I realized or noticed about most of the people that were coming for her is that they were quite domineering. Like, they wanted to possess her, own her totally, because and most of them had insecurity challenges. So I asked her a question. On one of the occasions, she was seriously considering a particular guy. So I asked her, okay, what will happen after now? Because this guy does not seem to value education, and from what I have heard you say and I have seen you decide, you want to further beyond just your first degree, and this person I'm looking at might not even allow you finish the current one you're undergoing right now. So what will you do? Have you tried to imagine what your life is going to look like after this decision that you're going to make? Have you imagined yourself as a housewife, as an uneducated person, an undergrad and uneducated person, actually, academically? Have you tried to envisage that? You said, I tell her, sit down and think through it. If you feel you can go and you can handle the outcome of this decision personally on how your life is going to change, then that's fine. So after she thought through, she didn't go ahead with that marriage. She's actually married now, but she did not marry at that particular time because that decision was going to turn her life around and change the course of her life and where she has ever seen herself. Another thing you must do, that's the number 10 option. For those joining in, I'll still go ahead and take through. You can also watch the replay after now, and it will definitely catch up on the sessions, on the parts that you have missed. Okay, you must learn to take risks. Practice taking risks. There is always a risk for everything that you want to do. So face your fears. Are there going to be fears you have? Yes, but you must learn to face your fears. If you don't face your fears, you find it very difficult to make decisions. Another thing that you must do is you must learn to trust yourself. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, trust your guts. Okay, that thing, trust your drive. Most of the times when we are about to make a decision, when you have options, even if there are two or three options, there will definitely be one that is underlying in your subconscious, in your conscious, in your mind. There is definitely that particular one that is as though it's strong in your spirit, in your mind. Most of the time that is a pointer to the particular one you should choose. Most times, if you have learned to trust your gut, don't ignore that thing that is inside, that you're yearning for. Most of the times, now you must learn to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself and believe in the choices that you make, you would never be able to make a decision properly. Another thing is that there must definitely be uncertainties, but you must learn to self-talk yourself out of uncertainties. I do that a whole lot. Most of the times, there might be things I want to do, and I've pondered and I've brooded over it, and it's looking like, this is not going to really work out the way I'm looking at it. So, what I do, I just stand in front of the mirror and I talk to myself. I've seen, okay, one of the days I bumped into someone seeing one of these Indian movies, and the lady was just standing, and she had two replicates of herself in the mirror. So this one was talking, this one was talking, and she was just looking at both of them, combating with words. Okay, so they were just talking and talking and talking, and I laughed. It made so much sense to me because this is one of the things I do. Okay, I just stand in front of the mirror and I ask myself, okay, so why don't you want to do this? And I watch the person in the mirror talk back to me. Now, literally, the person does not talk back, but I just hear the voice also in my head, like the person is responding. So by the time I'm done analyzing and convincing myself that I can do this, I can go through this, you see that I will just make the best and most decision out of it. It makes things easier for me. It makes me, proceed from the point where I feel I am stuck. Another thing, that's number 13, is that try not to be perfect. Don't prove a point. Don't try to be perfect. You mustn't make the best decision. Even if you made a decision and it's not the best, fine. Deal with it, live with it, understand it, and be proud that this is actually the decision that you have made. Okay, so learn to stand by your decision. Learn, you mustn't be perfect. Okay, just accept the decisions that you have made, no matter how frail or how imperfect that they look. We keep working towards perfection. Fail this time, try again. Before you know it, you will learn to nail your decisions whenever you make them. Another thing that you must do, which is very important, is that you must learn to trust the leading of the Spirit, which comes through the Word of God, which comes through the peace that you feel in your heart. One of the most tangible way that the Spirit of the Lord talks to us is through that inner peace. Most of the times, how to know what to decide on is that there is this peace inside of you that you cannot even explain. Okay, there is this peace that is beyond what you can see. Most of the times, a decision might seem very challenging, okay, but when you about making them, you just see that despite the challenges surrounding this decision you are making, you are so much at peace. Okay, so you must learn to trust your the leading of the Spirit. It comes through the Word of God. Most of the times you go to church and start saying things in line with that particular phase you are in. That's how to know that there's something God is saying to you. It can help clear your doubts. It can help point you to the right direction. There was something the Bible said in Jeremiah, and you will come to that path and you will try, you look for a path, you will hear a voice that will say to you, this is the way, walk therein. So the Holy Spirit also speaks to us through our human spirit, through what we call our conscience. That's another way you can follow the leading of the Spirit, through your conscience. Okay, some people say, one mind said I should not do that, and I did not do it, and it worked. So listen to that thing, that voice that speaks in your conscience is a pointer. Another way also is through prayer. Okay, as you pray also, the Holy Spirit of the Lord rests in your spirit on what you should do and what you should not do. Learn to trust the leading of the Spirit. Honestly, God cannot lead you astray. If you want to make a decision, involve God and you make the most of that decision. Finally, for tonight, you must learn to stand by your decision. You must learn to, whatever final decision you made, you must learn to defend it. You must learn to stand by it. Don't push the blame of the decision you have made on someone else. Probably you made a decision and it turned bad or it turned sour, and people are trying to, make light of it or blame you. Take responsibility and say, yes, I made the decision. It might not have worked out, but it's my decision. Learn to defend and stand by the decision that you have made. So I'll just take us through for the sake of people that did not join us in time. Number one, get a firm grip of your schedule. Number two, set decision-making deadlines. Make it as realistic as possible. Number three, narrow your options. Number four, stop worrying about other people. Learn to say no without feeling bad. Number five, get a mentor. Seek counsel. Get someone that is not in the same dilemma with you, that you can trust and you can access to be able to tell you what to do. Number six, don't overthink the outcome. Number seven, do a research on the options that you have. Number eight, protect your mind against self-doubt. Number nine, take the self-assessment test on the positive outcome and the negative outcome, and how your life is also going to change based on that decision that you are making. Number 10, practice taking risks. Face your fears, face them headlong. If you swim, that's fine. If you sing, that's fine. You dust yourself and try again. Number 11, trust your gut. Number 12, self-talk yourself out of self-doubt. Self-talk yourself out of uncertainties, because definitely there will be uncertainties when you're about to make a decision. Number 13, don't try to be perfect. You might not be perfect right now. You might not have made the perfect decision, but if you keep trying and doing it over and over again, you would see that you would come up with something very perfect. Number 14, trust the leading of the Spirit. You would hear that voice in your spirit that will tell you, this is the way, walk, Jerry. How can you hear that voice, and how can you activate this aspect of your life? Through the Word of God, through prayer, and through also listening to the peace that you have inside of you. And finally, you must learn to defend whatsoever decision that you have taken. It's been a beautiful evening. I would want you to apply this thing. The intent is that you will begin to make decisions swiftly. You will be able to make decisions that you're going to be proud of. If you can go through these tips and apply them in your everyday life, you would notice that you will begin to make decisions that will represent you and you also be proud of. Once again, my name is Favor Chike Williams. I am your host at Pause and Ponder with Favy, and what I want to do is to help you navigate through life by building yourself. I am a human performance coach and I am a life skill trainer. Do well to invite your friends to like and follow this page, and will be on your screen every fortnight on Monday at 6 p.m. West African time. You can leave a comment, you can ask questions, you can send us a direct message through our inbox or through our website, and we'll definitely answer your questions. Don't forget to invite your friends. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to comment. I want to know you and I want us to be family. I'll be on your screen once again in a fortnight. And please don't forget to watch replay after this session. Thank you so very much for being part of this time. I'm signing out, but before I do, I want you to know that there are three things we want you to do at Pause and Ponder with Favor. Number one, we want you to pause and ponder. Number two, we want you to be inspired, and importantly, we want you to move from the point where you are to where you're supposed to be. I want you to record progress, and when you do, don't forget to share your progress testimonies with me, and I'll be glad to do. Have a very beautiful evening and a very wonderful and productive week ahead. Bye for now.